Welcome to the first 1v1 of the IMBA tournament. Bottom right hand side is Cybran and pink is tagged Pebble going for T1 Land Factory, 2 power generators and 4 mexes. This map is Desert Joust. As we can see in the middle of the map we've got 2 Cybran destroyers, 3 UEF mobile missile launchers and a load of rocks. And we've got little hoverbots, big rocks, well, the entire works of this map, so this will be quite interesting to see how Zock and Tag play. The winner of this match goes straight through to the second round of the IMBA tournament. So if we have a look now, we've got Zock currently doing his land factory. He's told his T1 engineer to start building a hydrocarbon power plant, and he's using his ACU to build the mexes. So this will be quite an interesting game to see how both players use all the map. As we can see, Zock already has 5 more land factories queued after he's built a hydrocarbon power plant, so obviously Zock's going straight for a massive assault. As we can see, Pebble's already starting to build his hydrocarbon power plant, but he does have a T1 factory queued, so this will be even interesting to see how this works. Obviously, Pebble is, well, pretty good at this game, son of Tag Rock, so this will be quite an interesting, decent game. As we can see, Tag Rock is going to now move his SCU into the middle of the map, so he can start reclaiming the mass extractor, so he can start reclaiming the T2 Cybran destroyers, and also the 2 mass extractors at the top left and a few others at the bottom left and right. As we can see, Pebble is doing the exact same but on the opposite side of the hill, so obviously they're both going to be meeting in the middle. As we can see, Zock has been extremely careful. He's got T1 scouts on all over the map, so obviously he'll know exactly what's happening when it's going to happen, so he'll be able to modify his strategy and destroy. As we can see, Pebble has now found out where Zock is, so obviously he'll be hunting. So obviously Pebble is now straight away. Yep, Pebble's running straight to the middle of the straight in the middle of the map to reclaim the Cybran T to destroy it before Zock does. As we can see, Zock is getting a massive mass boost. Obviously he's not using it to its full advantage. So obviously not using it to its full advantage, but he does have, he is now queuing a lot of power generators down the left hand side of his 5 land factories that he has planned to be built. If we go and look at Pebble's base, he's got a T1 factory up already, and he's starting to build his first of 5 land factories, so obviously this is going to be an interesting game. As we can see, Zock is now reclaiming the second T2 Cybran destroyer, with Pebble just watching and waiting. As we can see, I think Pebble probably has saw the Cybran T2 destroyer just vanish. If he didn't, then he's obviously concentrating on somewhere else along the map. As we can see, we've got a little scout of Zock's, which is getting accompanied by 2 Seraphim T1 tank destroyers, medium tanks. As we can see, Pebble is now using it. Pebble is going to start building some more mass extractors, so obviously Pebble needs some more mass, but as we can see, Zock's got the biggest mass boost of the lot by reclaiming the both Cybran destroyers. As we can look at the bottom left hand side of Pebble's base, he is now starting to build mantises, and he's also got his 3rd land factory up. He's got 3 more to build, so obviously Zock has got a huge advantage at the moment in time with the build power and the income that he has of mass. As we can see, 4 medium tanks versus 2 mantises. As it's closer to Pebble's base, Pebble's getting more reinforcements out a lot faster than Zock's can arrive. Obviously, Zock isn't really too bothered about this. Obviously, as we can see, he's grouped most of his units together. So he'll start pushing them instead of sending them one at a time, which they'll just get completely destroyed altogether. As we can see, Pebble's pushing out with 3 mantises. Obviously, T1 artillery is absolutely lethal in this game. not to mess with, really. As we can see, he's just grouping them together. So obviously Zock is now starting to do a base assault on Pebble's base, while Pebble is now starting to come over the hill, but he's just rethought about that and saying, no, I'm not going to do that. I know he's got units there. I want to get away from this position, so I can't exactly get hit. So I know so due to that, Zock is now hunting Pebble down. Obviously that's done a massive diversion to Zock's ACU, so it doesn't actually attack Pebble's base, which will do extremely amount of lethal damage. Obviously Pebble's now pretty much on the same play in terms of Rock at the moment. Obviously Rock has got 15 more mass income, so obviously he's supporting his land factories even better. As we can see in the bottom left hand side of the map, we've got the 2 mantises of the original 4 mantises being currently destroyed by Rock's units. Obviously Pebble now has reinforcements heading into that area, but obviously if you send them one at one, the tanks are going to absolutely kill him. As we can see, Pebble is now macroing to kill tanks one by one, so obviously that hasn't failed, so he's now doing a full retreat. Obviously he's got another group of mantises. He's got another group of 8 mantises waiting for him with T1 artillery. As we can see, Pebble is now back to his base, so he's got 3 T1 engineers currently assisting his ACU, so obviously Pebble's going for a quick early upgrade that will probably hinder Zock's progress attacking his base, but at the moment it's pretty much evens. Map control just about half at the moment in time. Obviously massive advantage for Zock though. T2 factory up already, but he does have just over 50% of the map now, so obviously that's going to be a major increase. As we can see, Pebble's currently assaulting the middle of the map, but obviously he's going to get rammed pretty much, sandwiched, but he's managed to make it out with few unit losses, so obviously that's done more damage to Zock than it has to Pebble, so obviously Pebble's going to be quite pleased with that. Managed to kill some more of his units. Obviously Pebble is now coming with his ACU on the right hand side of where Zock is. Does have a gun upgrade. Oh no, looks like he cancelled the upgrade that he was doing. So obviously that's not. Obviously Pebble's decided to do something else. As we can see, Pebble's just scouted up the top right hand side of the map. Notice that the Zock has units up there, so obviously Pebble's decided to no. As we can see, Pebble's currently surrounded with his ACU with 8 mantises and 1 artillery. As we look at the bottom left hand side of the map, we've got another similar small army of Pebbles, just currently massing there near the T1 PD that he's just built to protect his base from any massive assaults. We've also got a T1 engineer of Pebbles building T1 mass extractor just outside the range of Zock's base on the left hand side. As we can see, pretty much Zock now has 75% of the map control, but he's probably just about to lose the top right hand side as the mantises and the artillery start shooting away at the PD. So obviously the artillery is the only way that can effectively kill point defences being walled. As we can see in the background, PD's on 7,715. The mantises are currently shooting away, but as we can see just on the left hand side of the screen and the right hand side of the screen, we've got Rock's reinforcements. Obviously Rock's reinforcements are extremely destroyed. He's just absolutely hammered the small force of tags at the top right hand side of the map. But as we look on the bottom left hand side of the map, Zock's sneak attack, Pebble's sneak attack on Zock's base has worked wonders. This has pretty much knocked out the mass advantage that Zock had, or now still has. but he does have a T2 mass extractor in his base, so obviously that's going to provide a bit more help to Zock. He doesn't really need, obviously a T2 upgrade is round about 4 to 5 T1 mass extractors, so obviously Pebble's good with that, but Zock's out with that because he's got a T2 mass extractor. If we look in the middle of the map, so obviously we've got a small encounter on the left hand side, the top right hand side just got pretty much wiped out, but the interesting part is the middle. As we can see, Zock's now got T2 assault bots and T2 point defences. So obviously this is going to be very hard for Pebble to start assaulting Rock's units, as Rock has T2 engineers just behind his SU, building T2 point defences, currently sniping away with any units that he has. So obviously Pebble's going to try and think of a way of getting around this. As we can see, Pebble's base, he's also got a T2 land factory himself, building rhinos. So obviously these rhinos are known for the heaviness, but not as much for the accuracy and the lasers. As we look on the left hand side, bottom left hand side of the map, we have Zock currently pushing around with 10 T1 tanks and 1 medium tank. As we can see, Pebble's deciding to put all of his units behind the T1 point defense, so obviously that's going to do him pretty much any good. As we can see, we've also got a forward T1 ready by Zock, so obviously Zock will be able to see exactly what's happening now. Yes, as we can see, Zock knows exactly where Tag Pebble's ACU is now, and is currently bombarding it with 2 point defense shots a second. So obviously Pebble's not going to be pleased with that, but he's safe now at the moment because he's behind the hills. So obviously PDs can't shoot through hills or over the hills. As we can see, Pebble with his massive base, but Zock does have T2 point defences just behind the T1 point defence. So obviously Pebble's trying to really divide and conquer at the moment in time. So obviously Zock has now placed his ACU just in front of the T2 PD, but behind the T1 PD. So obviously the lack of T1 PD because his Tag Pebble's just wiped it out. As we can look at the top right hand side of the map, we've got a small force of rocks currently being absolutely battered by a big enough force of pebbles, which will wipe that out. But there is a T2 PD being built in that, so obviously them units are going to get wiped out by the T2 PD, which isn't what Pebble wants. Obviously Pebble's going to start pushing down the bottom left hand side of the map. As we can see, Pebble's currently encountering heavy resistance from Zock unit. Obviously Pebble's just pushing them all in, so obviously the further Pebble's units get in, the more damage that happens to Pebble's units. But obviously the further the Pebble's units go in, the more units that Zock kills with the units that he currently has. So it's pretty much 50-50. Pebble is currently upgrading his ACU again. That's a pretty fast upgrade, so obviously he must have power storage or a lot of mass storage. So he obviously had a lot of mass storage, and he was assisted by quite a few, about 15 mantises, so obviously that'll upgrade his ACU even faster. If we look at the right hand side of the map, Zock is pushing with T2 PDs with a T2 engineer, and he's also trying to assault with T2 assault bots of Sarah, which are extremely lethal. On one of the bots with 700 HP, it's got 18 kills already, so that just goes to show how lethal Seraphim T2 tanks are. If we look at his base, Zock is even now pushing out, he's just completely forgot about the T2 land and is pushed straight to T3, so obviously Zock really wants to get this done. We also can see Pebble is also starting to use Cyber and T2 missile launchers. Obviously Cyber and T2 missile launchers are absolutely extremely hard to stop as they do the job. As we can see, he's using the mobile missile launchers to shoot down the T1, T2 engineer and the T2 point defense, so he can advance and kill. But as we look on the bottom left hand side of the map, we've also got Zock pushing with 18 kills on his ACU, and Pebble's hightailing that out of there. So it's pretty much Zock's in complete control. If Zock doesn't do anything completely stupid nor retarded or anything like that, Zock has won this. Obviously, he's been followed by a T3 shield generator, so obviously that's going to keep him pretty much safe until Pilot blasts it completely out, which he's done right now. Pilot's using his T2 rhinos and mantises to quickly hammer away at Zock's health on his ACU. So obviously this is liking to turn out to a draw. Pebble's standing still, so obviously that's not a good sign for Pebble. Zock survives with 750 HP, so obviously Zock has been the aggressor for much of this match and has successfully killed Pebble and advances to round 2 of the IMBA tournament. Thank you for watching, and I will be casting more games from round 1 of the IMBA tournament for you all to see.